now we look at talking about Bawumia and Mahama. These are the two guys seeking to lead us into the next phase of our national lives. Now, they both come from the northern part of the country. Also, they were at the northern part of the country the better part of last week and 2 weeks ago. And a number of things, they said a number of things and made quite a number of promises. Mahama Yariga here comes from that part of town, the upper east region, Boku specifically, where he is a member of parliament. And some interesting things were said also around that side of town. But you are from the northern part of Ghana, Honorable Yariga. How do you see the contest really? Two people from there. Very likely that the next president will come from your side of town or from the northern part. Is there a sense of pride? I mean, expectation? What was the feeling up there?
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? This is a very interesting development. Since the Fourth Republic began, we've never had this situation where the two major political parties that have a real chance of producing a president in the national election have presented two candidates that are all from the north. The NDC for a while was led by Jerry John Rawlings, and after him came Atta Mills from the central region, and then following his demise, John Dramani Mahama automatically became president, and then at the primaries he was made the candidate. In the case of the NPP, there's been a struggle over a period of time to also secure a northern ticket. Aliu Mahama tried after serving as vice president for 8 years and, didn't get the opportunity. And Akufo-Addo came, and after 8 years, Bawumia has been given the opportunity. Now, I'm giving you this background because when Bawumia went to the north, he tried to portray his presidency as a northern project. And indeed, he told people in the north that if the north backed him, the north will get an 8-year term. Even though the constitution only makes provision for a 4-year term for any president. He campaigned on the note that if the north backs him, the north will have an 8-year term. But if they back John Dramani Mahama, they will get a 4-year term. So that became a major theme in his, campaign. And he was there just a week before John Dramani also went to the same region, which was Upper East, where I, come from. And so, in addition to the individual promises in constituencies and districts and chiefdoms and etc., what he will do. So John Dramani Mahama was also there, and went through all the constituencies, same way that Bawumia had been to. And so this team was equally responded to in the sense that if Bawumia decides to look at his leadership strategically in terms of the North and its positioning in Ghanaian politics, he would have noticed that there are two major parties, that's the NPP and the NDC. The NDC gave the North an opportunity to rule through John Dramani Mahama. He had served the first term, and he lost the elections. But the NDC kept faith with John Dramani Mahama and retained him as a candidate on two different occasions, which was in 2020 and now in 2024. Still waiting for him to exhaust his 2 terms as president, so that within the NDC would have freely, fairly given the North an opportunity. Now, what Bawumia is saying is that the people of the North should jettison this second term opportunity that the NDC is giving Northerners, and rather go for his 8-year likely opportunity. But then people are saying, wait, there are two major parties in this country. One has given the North an opportunity to do 8 years. 4 years he has done, it's been truncated. The party is still insisting that he must do the additional 4 years. So if NPP has also decided to give the North an opportunity, and during their campaign it was obvious, they stated it severally, that for the first time, NPP was giving the North an opportunity, contrary to the perception that the NPP will never give an opportunity to the North. If you recall, during his primaries campaign and after he won, this was a major team in the NPP campaign. So people of the North are saying that, I mean, some people are saying, look, why won't the North rather exhaust this 4 year that NDC is giving to John Dramani Mahama, and NPP 8 years will have to wait, the same way that the NDC exercised the patience and held on to the ticket for 8 years in opposition during the tenure of John Dramani Mahama, so that after Akufo-Addo, he would come back and still be the candidate and exhaust the 4 years. Why won't the North rather finish utilizing the 4 years of NDC and wait again and then utilize an 8-year slot of the NPP? We know how in this country it's just between the two political parties. This one will serve, and then the people say, okay, it's all right then, unless there's some radical shift. I don't foresee, that not happening. If that happens, the North benefits from the 4-year remaining term of the NDC and potentially an 8-year term of the NPP in future. Because we believe that it will be difficult for the NPP to refuse Bawumia the ticket, because one of the major thrusts in terms of the NPP strategy is to send a message to the North that it is not a Southern ticket. It's not a Southern party. So if it's not a Southern party, no matter how long it will take, you must remain faithful to that promise of putting up a Northern candidate and letting that person serve 2 terms before you shift to another region. So if the North has a 4-year opportunity pending in the NDC, the North still has another 8-year opportunity pending under the NPP. And it won't be a smart idea for you, Bawumia, to say, oh, throw away the 4 years and just hold on to my 8 years.
When you can get 12.
When we can get 12, exactly. When we can get 12. Why can't we get 12? Why can't we vote for John Dramani Mahama now as a North to finish his 4 years? After that, you can line up your NPP 8 years, and let's see as a North what we can do also with your ticket. I'm responding this way because he made it the issue in the campaign. He publicly said that if you vote for this person as a North now, the North only gets 4. But if you vote for me as a North now, I get 8. And I'm like, wait, we can actually vote for both of you and get 12. So
how about a key issue?
How about 12 instead of 8?
Instead of
even 4.
4. The North is been seen as one of, and it is actually one of the poorest parts of the country. What really is the message from the NDC side to help reduce poverty in those areas? Agric is key, and a few other things. What really is the message to help the people of the North get empowered economically? But that's what this whole struggle or competition of ideas is for, to help the people develop and grow and become empowered.
Well, I mean, the NDC as a party has a tradition and a history of really pushing the North anytime that we've had the opportunity. Don't forget that we emerged from Rawlins's revolution and his military regime. If you look at energy as a catalyst for growth, the NDC and the PNDC that came before it really envisioned the idea of sending electricity to the entire North. If you recall, in '92, when we were having our first elections, sending electricity to the North was a major issue in that campaign. And I recall the then NPP candidate, Professor Edu Buahi, rather advocating for reducing the price of kerosene so that the North can continue using lanterns. And Rawlins rather thought that you should extend Akosombo to every corner of the North because of what energy does to a section of a territory when you get it there. So we've been strong on getting the North electrified. And when John Mahama became president, on 2 different occasions, we took huge facilities, to extend electricity to every part of the North, all the rural areas of the North. When NPP came, a lot of that stopped. And a lot of the communities are still living in darkness. And so it was one major promise of John Dramani Mahama that when we get back to office, we're going to resume the rural electrification and make sure that every corner of the North gets electrified, because electricity has a way of radically transforming the development opportunities in any geographical space. Now, the second issue that engaged us, which is a major problem for across the country, but particularly west in the North, which is unemployment for the youth, poverty, and etc. But the North has an advantage, which is agriculture. But then also it has a disadvantage, which is rainfall patterns. Because it rains for just a short period during the year. And so we can only farm for a short period during the year. So irrigation infrastructure has been a major commitment that the NDC is making. In my part of the country, for instance, my area, we have, what we call the Tamde Irrigation Dam, which John Dramani Mahama initiated. And NPP, phase 1, NPP came, they continued, but it hasn't been completed. And he promised that if he gets back to office, he will extend electricity, he will complete the irrigation facility, something that could actually serve like 3 or 4 districts, and then be a major game changer in terms of, agriculture.
Okay.
Then again, infrastructure. He promised to continue the Eastern Corridor Road and open up that whole area and create access both for transportation, haulage, and then also agriculture. So those are a lot of the major commitments that have been made. And then because it's largely an agricultural economy, the focus in the North has been to promote the farmer service centers, which he's been talking about, where farmers are going to be helped to expand their farm sizes, and then also to mechanize those farms and to increase production and get input support. Those are the major issues, apart from infrastructure, issues. For instance, as we went round, a lot of our campaigns took place, or rallies took place around E-blocks. Because in some of the districts and constituencies, you go there, and the E-block is the major infrastructure project standing. It dwarfs any other infrastructure in the district. No other infrastructure stands tall above the E-blocks. And it stands in sharp contrast with anything that has ever happened in terms of infrastructure development in those parts of the country. And it illustrated the kind of commitment that NDC brings to infrastructure development, even in these very deprived parts of the country. So a lot of discussions took place around the issue of development and what will be done to develop the North.
I'll come back to you. So you explain to us why it's important for the creation of a new region in the Upper East region. Very, very important matter. Honorable Aban, so Bamia has been making a number of promises there. Of course, your view also about whether it's exciting or not, the nature of the fact that the 2 candidates are from the North. So very likely, Ghana is going to have a president from the North, even though we've had one before. In fact, we've had Liman in the past, we've had John Mahama, but this particular election, it's most likely that one of them will come from the North, given that the two guys on the 2 major parties' tickets are from the North. How exciting is that?
Very exciting. Cows are held by their horns, and men are held by their words. You remember the politics, the propaganda of the NDC, and the words of Fifi Kweti, that the NPP will use the North, the people from the North and dump them, right? And if Dr. Bawumia really thinks that NPP would make him the flag bearer, he should rethink, and that it would never happen, right? Now, this has happened. new things are being said, right? Now, it is easy because you said those. NPP has done the otherwise. They go there and my friend Muhammad Yaga is singing a very beautiful song when he knows that the chorus would not be accepted by the others. Would you tell us that because the North wants to have 12 years, after your supposed 4 years, you would say, still we want, so we'll give it to NPP? They will not. Because as a political party, they will still want to be in power. And so if somebody else comes from, let's say, the South, to be on the ticket of NDC.
NDC will fight the election.
Are they going to say, oh, because we have told the North that, oh, they can have 12 years, if NPP should retain Bawumia, we should not contest the election, and then we should give it to him. So what kind of, if I say, message are they sending them? That, oh, you have the potential of having 12. In any case, it is in Ghana that you lose, you come again, you lose, you come again. Elsewhere, and I'm sure we'll get there, elsewhere, you take your chance. You don't take it, it's gone. You can mention
Trump.
Trump has come again, but he is the, if I say,
it's a different kind of
different kind of person in this whole thing. But if you look at it from even 1960s coming, right? A person like Michael Dukakis, he went, lost, he did not come back. Even Al Gore, all those things, right? If you are learning from the US, then why should Bawumia not take his chance now? Suppose we say, oh, we took you there, you didn't do well, so we are changing this business of having 8 or having 4.
They are not committed to a northern ticket. That means that you are not committed to a northern ticket.
It's not about...
In the case of NDC, the man lost. We kept him. 3 elections. We insist that it has to be him. Because we are committed to the northern ticket. And I'm saying that you should demonstrate your commitment to the northern ticket as well. By maintaining him until he has served 2 terms.
So when John Mahama serves his 4 years and it elapses, are you going to say, because we want
we will not contest the election?
We are not going to contest if Bawumia is the candidate for NPP?
No. Don't forget the audience. The audience is northern people. Those are the audience you were speaking to.
Let me go on.
And selling the 8 years versus the 4 years to. It's the same audience.
His message is that the 12 years you are suggesting may not happen because you contest the 12.
You will contest the 12.
And so you may win.
No, but the people you are selling those ideas to are northerners who have been voting for NDC.
Can I continue?
So, yes. Okay, I get it. So let him continue his point here.
So, and in any case, it is not just a matter of who becomes the leader. It's about what the leader does after he has been elected into office. Okay? And I think NPP rules the country better than NDC. So why should we say, oh, because of commitment to northern ticket and because we want to have 12 years, we should have somebody to come and mess up 4 years before we come back? Is that what they're saying?
What?
And so for me, I think that the immediate going back to the north by John Mahama was a panic reaction to the inroads being made by Bawumia. And indeed, since he came onto the ticket, even as running mate to Akufo-Addo, the dynamics in the north are changing. And I think it is going to even change the more, right? Now that he is on the top of the ticket, right? So for me, I think that if he's telling them that they should vote for him because he has the potential of doing 8 years, indeed it is true, and we'll assist him in that regard because he would do better than Mr. John Mahama, whose record we know. Right?
Yeah. So what to the key issues? I mean, the issue of poverty and all of that. How is he proposing to deal with that? Remember, we've had the issue about one village, one down, 1V1D. Many who have been to the places and the reports we have seen suggest that that policy didn't really go well. What is he? Of course, he's also.
It is not a bad policy.
Yes,
Its implementation probably
talked about,
we have faced some challenges.
Yes.
Which
And
policy
so-
has ever been bad? Every policy,
So it's implementation,
every policy
yeah.
has
Yes, that's
always
what,
been good.
that's what I'm saying. That
Hasn't
the
been
implementation,
good.
the implementation. So meaning that we'll have to rechannel energies, okay, to make sure that that becomes a reality. So that because we cannot run away from these two, agric and energy, we can't. And so, if we are able to make sure that irrigation is done properly with proper implementation of one village, one dam, okay, then
So I'm going to go back to one village, one dam, because
whichever way it is couched, whichever way it is implemented, we cannot run away from doing proper irrigation in that area so that agriculture will be boosted in that area, right? Because I can assure you that that area, together with BA and other, can be the biggest food basket for Ghana. Okay? And so we should not just say that, oh, it is nothing ticket just for sentimental reasons. We must make sure that we take the necessary steps to drive them, move them out of poverty.
He also
It's very
talks
necessary.
about free tertiary education for persons with disabilities, fast-track northern development. Not sure how he wants to do that. And also intensified support for widows in the north. Talking to the chiefs, talked about 100% ownership of natural resources, involve chiefs, etc. Train KIA to go back to develop in the north. I'm sure some work is started on that, etc. These are the things he keeps telling the people. Of course, you know, he talked about the 1 city, 2 city, 1 city, 2 city phones when he was in certain parts of the north. I don't know how central that promise is, but of course he did say that. So
It
these
was
are
being trivialized and
no,
bastardized
but the way he said it, I mean, we understand he was trying to talk about the contracting.
Yes.
But we don't pay 1 city, we don't pay 2 cities. I mean, it's not.
No,
elsewhere, it's not £1
you-
or $1 or £2, $2.
You pay token amount, if I may put it that way. Because elsewhere, even in the US, you go, you want a phone, it comes with
The credits.
the credit, the chip,
The chip,
and
yeah.
all that. And you cannot even take the chip
Yeah,
and put another one in
yes,
there.
it's that phone,
It's,
so
yes,
you use it.
it's contractual. And then you pay over time, right? We don't have any good credit system here.
Yeah, so the question
so
is
that
that the
is
most
the
important
broader-
thing for the people there? I mean, there are issues of poverty, there are other key issues, unemployment, etc. Is that
It
a
is
thing
not.
you want to
It is
push?
not just for the sake of having a phone. If we take it that way, then it's like
Make
you
it
are
simplistic.
asking the people to own some luxurious things when bread and butter issues are there. But you see, now we cannot run away from technology. We cannot run away from communication and all that using phone. In fact, a lot of transactions are being done on the phone, right? Let me just give an example. Yesterday, I asked my brother and go to a friend of mine in Swedru to take some things for some project, right? Why did we not have a difficulty? Because I can just sit on my phone and transfer money to him. That's transaction, right? So we should not just take it that, oh, he asked people to have phones so that they can display it. No, it is for a purpose. And that's where we should understand it.
I see. All right, Franklin, two candidates from the north. Have you been impressed about the messaging so far? And which one has been your major takeaway?
I recall when I was in Trumpland, we had this conversation, right?
Yes.
About the two candidates being hailing from the north, which is indeed a good thing. They are blessed to have how many regions now? 6? It used to be 3. Now we have we've diced it up into all kinds of, should I call it mini colonies?
Five
Yeah,
now.
five.
Yeah, 5.
And so there are 5 now. Yeah, but the graphical, the geography still remains, right? Anyway, I'll come to that subject shortly. I think that I like it. I mean, I like the vibe. I like the fact that they need to fight for every vote, which is very important. But we also need to be hearing, I wouldn't call it a plan. Just liberate the people, liberate not just the northern people, liberate the Ghanaian of huge taxes, liberate the northern people so that they can, if I'm looking for a blueprint for the northern, for all these areas, right? Where they'll say that, look, we will bring, we'll give tax concessions to companies from the south or people from whatever part of the world who come there and establish factories. By the way, they need to do a skills audit before they establish the factories, or maybe skills can be transported and or imported. That's fine. And then do a proper audit of these areas and present a plan. I know people will say, oh, there was a Savannah,
Sada.
then the NPP, Sada. Then the NPP also came. They were bringing some Singaporeans to the north. I met some of the Singaporeans and all of that stuff. We haven't seen where these things have ended up. We want to see proper blueprint that would indigenize the economy, allow Ghanaians, first of all, to be able to invest much there, right? So that others can come. This piecemeal nature of doling out this, doling out that, one university here, I'll name university after some grandfather. Just say, I don't even understand how this I think our politicians are taking this country, people for cheap. You do a proper audit analysis, economic audit of the northern regions, find out what most will move quickly, give tax concessions, let people go in there, then the development will come, right? Look, yesterday I was just chatting with my colleagues in the office. We're deep into the night and we were asking ourselves, this fiscal decentralization, they were thinking of trying to say that we need to ensure that the money from the center goes to the district so that there's efficient spending. I said, hey, hold it there. First of all, the thing has been capped at the center here. And we are treating these people like beggars, lepers, collecting money small. They have to then praise you, then, oh, scanner bow, and they'll come. That's not development. What we are doing is not development at all. It's even worse than socialism. It's like top-down command economics. You're just scanning now you check, now you Kakrabi, we cap it, and then we say, oh, you take this one. All these districts in the northern areas are decrepit, most of them, apart from the major towns, most of them shrink also. In fact, I remember traveling across the country at some point. I met district planners. They tell me, Mr. Kujo, we are just armchair planners, so nothing going on. In fact, in one of the districts we went, the DC was plotting to be DC of another district because the district has just been diced up, so it's lost the major revenue from the market. What is this? Development cannot happen. I've not seen a proper blueprint from these two parties saying that we hail from the north. This is the economic profile of every district in the north. We think that if we put this here, maybe then people came a bit closer to one district, one factory. But we're spreading factories like confetti all over the place without any sense of direction. All right, so now I'm looking for a blueprint. By the way, when I say that, I don't mean go and design some plan from Mars and come and cost it and then build Ghanaians. We also want private sector to be involved. I've not seen the plan. All these mobile phones going around. Anyway, good to have mobile phones. By the way, I hear also that the KIA have been, it's good to, but create opportunities so that people can pick up the land. Liberate the people. And by the way, it should be across the country, so kudos to the two gentlemen. I hope the candidate who has something that is resemblance of progress would win. Finally, I'm here to see their manifesto, so I can't say much.
The manifestos will want to be launched on the 18th, and NDCs understand towards the end of the month. We'll take a short break. When we come back, I'll let Honorable Mama Yariga tell us why it's important, or why NDC finds it so important in creating another region in the Upper East region. Don't go away. You're welcome back. This is a big issue, the final lap of the program. Indeed, John Mahama was in the Upper East region, in Boko specifically, and he promised creating a new region out of the Eastern region. Of course, Ghana recently created a number of regions, 3 from the north, and then got one also from the Western region, now Western North. And many have said that those creations have not yielded any much result. The idea was to create it and improve development or bring development to the places. So Mama Yaraga, why is it so important that your party will be promising creating a new region out of the Upper East region, which is not a very big place? What is the real driving force behind that promise?
I think that the demand for a separate region did not come from the NDC as a political party. Like most demands for regions, it normally emanates from the indigents. So it was the Zuguran, who is the chief of what today is the Kusasi traditional area, encompassing 6 districts. That is Timpane district, Garo district, Pusga district, Boku municipality, Binduri district, and then Zebila district. He made an appeal to John Dramani Mahama somewhere last year when John Dramani Mahama visited his palace. He had a personal one-on-one discussion with him and said that this is really what he wants for the place. And John Dramani said he will think through it and get back to him. So subsequently, he and I had a series of discussions about the prospects for a region. And in the end, John Mahama indicated that in the first place, presidents cannot arbitrarily create regions. The creation of regions is defined in the Constitution, and the procedure is also spelled out in the Constitution. It first starts with a petition from the people of the area, and then a committee is set up to look into the matter. And the committee makes recommendations, which then is sent to the Council of State. Council of State advises on the matter, and then it is put to a referendum, and the people in that geographical space have to vote, and then that is how it is created. So for me, as John Dramani Mahama, I have been part of this history of conflict in that part of the country, and over the years we've been struggling to find an institutional architecture that enables us to more effectively deal with and contain the conflict and end it sustainably. I believe that if we create a region, it would enable us to have a political structure, which is a regional government, that pays closer attention to the issues of peace and security than you being part of the wider region where the regional minister and the regional government has a broader focus than your geographical space. So on the note of a political arrangement that best addresses the issue of conflict, peace and security in the area, I will support the idea of that part being carved out as a region with a regional administration, with an independent regional security council, with military, base there, and with resources that enables us first to have a linkage between economic development, infrastructure development, alleviating and fighting poverty, so that it can also douse the tensions that easily escalate into conflict. On that basis, he supports. Then he added that if you look at what he has seen in the various reports that look at the creation of regions, they look at districts. Then he compared and said, you have 6 districts. Timpane, Garo,
and all of that, yeah.
Pusga, Boku,
Binduri, Zebila.
Binduri, Zebila, 6. And he was able to identify another region that has 6 districts, and yet they've been given a region. So he says, so if that is the criteria, you may also qualify because you also have 6 districts. Others have 6 and they've been given a region. Then he now talks about space and says, I haven't really measured your space. And he said this publicly. He said, I've not really measured your space to compare with other people's space, but on the basis of districts, others have qualified, so you may also qualify. Then he talks about population. And says, when it comes to population, I know your population even exceeds others, but then they have gotten a region.
So in essence,
and then, so in essence, you tick the boxes, and then the last thing is economic viability. So he concludes that you are also equally economically viable. So in principle, I support you, except that there's a constitutional procedure. You have to go through the procedure. If you succeed, you have my backing.
Great.
That's all that he said.
I see. I wish I could take your views.
Yes.
Just 1 second. Okay.
He has been there all this while. When did he?
But the issues have not come up.
Anyway, I wish I could respond to it, but
yes. All right. So Franklin, I know your view on this already. So your views are well noted.